Google has made some very significant changes throughout 2017 that have changed the way content needs to be done and produced. You just can't do it the way we used to do it anymore. So we're going to talk about all of that today, what that means to you, and we're going to talk about what do you need to be able to do to be able to compete as we're saying this. It used to be that I could take a page, if you walked into this class as recent as probably 2 years ago, I would tell you go home, write a 500-word essay and say your keywords 5 times. And that was the end of it. I really didn't say anything much more, much past that, because that was sufficient, okay? That is no longer sufficient, and not only is it not sufficient, if you did what I just said, there's now a penalty out there that's gonna trap you, okay? Part of the reason I have Tommaso here, I'm just gonna say it. Tommaso did a great thing, and him and I, when I met him, I said, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. But now I'm like, wait up a minute, but then I went and looked at it and it's terrible. So what he did was he wrote an encyclopedia of Italy, okay? And I thought, how horrible, we have this whole encyclopedia sitting there and why is it there? And I kept trying to make him take it down. Well, now what I need is to use it. So I went back and I looked at it, and the reason I need to use it is because every one of your sites, we talked about this briefly last time, every one of your sites needs traffic. So you're gonna have to try to figure out how to get traffic, and we can talk about that in the nutshell. But he's sitting over there, more than half of his traffic when I first met him was coming off an area of that website that all he was, I'm gonna buy him a shirt that says I'm the Ministry of Tourism for Italy, because that's what the whole website was about, okay? It was him being the Minister of Tourism for Italy, and it would, this is Rome, but it was really, come on in. This is Donna. I'm just going to introduce her. Donna does language translation. That's probably the nutshell. She's the one who outed Tommaso last time. That's right. So, anyway, long story short is, his area of his website was very thin. If I went to a page, it says this is, it doesn't actually say this, and we can go look at it, but it's as simple as this. This is a pretty part of Italy. You might want to visit this part of Italy if you're looking for it. So it doesn't have a lot of elaborate information. So previously, Google would rank that information regardless of how good or bad it was. They didn't have a delimiter on good or bad, okay? And I always try to put everything in perspective when I tell you what they're doing. So there has been, we've talked about linking in this class before, but there has been a movement on Google's part, I believe, not that I've seen this anywhere, but this is just my opinion. There's a whole gaggle of people out there that make links to each other, okay? And there was no delimiter on the value of that link. And I could link to you, you could link to me. If you link to me from a Chamber of Commerce website, you have some power. You're giving me the value of that link. Awesome, awesome. But if you send me no traffic across that link, they're looking at that as it's a bad link, okay? So, what they're looking for is people that went and purchased links in places, like the newspaper. I could go buy a page in the newspaper. If nobody trafficked it came to my website, that link purchased now is basically a defunct purchase. Yes? But you're gonna do it anyway. Go ahead.
Seems like more and more and more what I've seen through Google is they're trying to kill organic search.
All right, that's a whole different class.
Okay.
All right, yeah, no, that's that is true, but that's a whole different class. We can talk about it on a whole different level. But so what they're after right now is they're after what they're called as private blog networks, okay, or private link networks. I've seen them reference both. You see them as PBN. You may see those initials somewhere if you're out reading some of this geeky stuff. And what those are were networks that were started of defunct websites that had value. You go slap some content on it, the content would rank and you make a link. That's the nutshell version of all of that. So how am I going to stop that activity? Oh, okay. I was like, who's making all that noise? I'm screaming over ice. Anyway. All right, so how am I going to stop that activity? That becomes the question. So, and I'm trying to give you a context of what they're looking for so you understand part of what I'm about to tell you is a fight against this link, because they basically is a way that to make a link to a website that you're virtually undetectable. They cannot really tell. If it's a huge network, they can tell, but if it's a small network, it's very difficult. So they started to look, and we talked about this last time about traffic coming to a website, and they started to say, hey, if you have traffic coming to your website, where's it coming from? How's it getting there? If you have a link on somebody else's website and it's pointing to my website, there better be some traffic across that. So like if I make a link to you, somebody better be clicking on that link, otherwise they're gonna like kind of devalue that link. So do we kind of understand where I'm starting from? Yes, Donna.
So if I have a link on my website that takes them to another website, they come to mine and then they go to another one.
Yes.
Am I penalized for that?
No. That's. But what did I tell you? Don't make links to other people. I've said that now a couple times. I know I've said it in your earshot.
Yes. No, I was gonna say this is to free websites that have.
No, there's no good reason. There's no reason you should ever make a link to anybody else's website. I am saying that there's exceptions to that, but I am telling you that because you are sending power from your website to somebody else. So you can do it, but you'll never get ahead on the treadmill yourself. Okay, so that's why I would say no. Go ahead.
So if I made a couple links on a couple of super obscure Wikipedia pages, would you say those would be valued now too because you don't get traffic?
There are no follows. So you'll have the citation link. So you were doing that for link building purposes, I'm assuming, right? So what he did is made a link on a Wikipedia page, that link to his website. It's a no follow link, so Wikipedia is not giving you the full credit. Google's recognizing that link is there. If it was a good link, there should be some small amount of traffic that passes. When I say there needs to be traffic to a website, I'm not, let's take you with your chamber directory. I've always maintained that the chamber directory is one of the most important things that you can do, okay? So her with her chamber directory, I don't have to have 500 people coming through that chamber page. I just need one person to search for me a month. That shows that there's some validity to that link, that link is being used. It doesn't have to be some huge influx of traffic from somebody. So I'm okay as long as there's some traffic somewhere from that page.
So
Go ahead.
In theory, could you yourself go and provide the traffic for that? Or do they track IP addresses?
You know there's IP address scramblers, right? And that's all I'm gonna say. Okay?
Let me follow on that.
I want to stay on content. I don't want to get off on a link discussion.
But what if you went and you've got
Okay.
15 kids from U of H?
Nope, we're not doing that. We don't teach Black Hat or how to do that. That's why I didn't answer his question. Okay? Go ahead.
So our content is all about other people. So
What does that mean?
So I tell a story about a farmer. So I want my readers will share it on Facebook, but I link to their website. You want to learn more about these farmers or where
From
you
where are you
can
doing that?
purchase
In
it?
Facebook or your website?
My website.
That's a bad thing.
They always tell me it's a good thing.
No, it's good for the farmer. It's not good for you. The problem is, we guys are going to rapidly get off into a link class. I don't want to make this a link class. I have a lot to cover today, okay? So we need to stop talking about links. I don't mean to shut you down, but we'll run a link class later in the fall again if we need to. Okay, so we all understand they're trying to catch bad guys. Everybody's got that base premise. We all are in agreement they're trying to catch bad guys, right? Okay, so what they did is up the ante on the content, which means your content has to be that much better. So now we're going to define what that much better means and how we're going to come into that algorithm, and that's what we're going to talk about, okay? So the first thing I want to start with is, how many words does an article have to have?
500 to 800.
No.
800 to 3,000.
800 to 3,000, you got it right. And I'm going to write some notes over here on this board. We'll
That's
take
what
a
you
picture.
said last time.
That's what I said last time, you're right.
I wrote
And
it
that
down.
hasn't changed, okay? But what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you 3 buckets, because each one of them buckets have different elements to them now, okay? So first of all, we have to understand that there's 3 word counts, all right? One is 800, one is 1250, and one is 3,000, all right? So y'all with me? So far, so good? Okay. How many keywords do we used to have to put in an 800-word article? 1%. See, he was paying attention. All right. Okay. I'm going to say we're only going to use it 5 times. There's no more 1%. Actually, if you did the math on that, that's less than 1%. Okay, so we're only going to try to use that 5 times. All right? That 5 times is going to be included within the copy the headlines and subheadlines that we're going to put in it, there's going to be several different ways. I told you yesterday, Ricky, I wanted Sarah posting your stuff. It's because if I let you post it on your own, you won't do the mathematics right. The kids will do the mathematics right.
Okay.
That's not a bad thing for you. It's just a matter of there's going to be so many things that we're going to have to do when we put up a page now. It's not going to be easy peasy anymore. So it's not going to be cut and paste. All right. So we've got 5 times on the keyword. Does everybody know what I mean when I say a keyword? Anybody? Did I lose anybody on that material? Okay. This is where I'm going to mess you up. Anybody know what that is?
In kind?
Keyword is one of them.
Density.
Density is one. That's good. Go ahead.
Random.
Huh? Random is not right.
Repeating.
No, random. What's the opposite of random? Related keyword density. Okay? So now we're going to have to figure out how do we determine this, okay? So when I look at a page, I'm actually going to have to sit down and try to figure out what the words are that are surrounding this. And each one of these are going to have a different mathematical computation. So that's why I busted them out the way I did. Okay? So now I know I have to have 5 times in the word, right? Okay. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to relate these words. So how am I going to find related words? No. Go ahead. Anybody want? Nope. Not at all. I have to find out what Google thinks is related. I don't care what we think is related. He could talk a whole thing about a Volkswagen and be talking about Italy. He could be talking about a Fiat and be talking about Germany. Those two things don't go in a sentence together. Under no circumstances would they go together. It's why I was, was it you? Who was it? Somebody said, oh, you, with experiences. It's why I keep harping on you about experiences.
I just say it.
I know, you say it, but it's in your psyche, so it just kind of comes out your pores, okay? What does Google think an experience is? A requirement for a job. Are you hiring anybody? No, there is no but to that. No, there's no but.
They are not Google.
No but.
Oh, but Google is your business.
Okay. They're not Google. How do you know they're not Google? So you don't know that. I'm only giving you a hard time. No, all right. The reason I'm trying to get you out of experience is because every time he says it, it reinforces and it keeps showing back up on his website and what he posts. Experience is about a job. It's not about a vacation. He sells vacations. That's what he sells. He doesn't sell experience. He's not a work person. The problem is, he's right. People understand. He's trying to make a tactile thing in your head of what he sells. The problem is Google has no understanding of what that tactile interaction is.
In other words, it's like a different language.
It is like a different language. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do we speak that language today, okay? So although I want to keep having that discussion with you, I have the same problem with my own company, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Digital marketing, because I do the same thing Bob does. Social media, build websites, web design, content creation. I also do web hosting. So web hosting and web design in Google's world are 2 different animals. And no matter how many times I try to turn the boat, they have refused to say that my web hosting company is anything more than a web hosting company. I have the hardest time with that. If they actually knew what the letters stood for, the last 2 stand for web design. So, but I can't make that argument with them because we're in the GoDaddy world with them, okay? Which is partly why I have a whole second set of a brand, because I could never get that to completely convert to being a SEO company. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I'm going to refresh your computers.
Yeah. Oh, this? Oh. Well, it's okay. We'll make it come back on when we need to. So, all right. So we kind of understand. I think we could kind of start to say, every one of us, you said you help kids not drown. Okay. What does that mean?
We teach swimming.
No, you have you're a summer camp that teaches swimming.
Actually, no, the summer camp is kind of like the secondary, really.
Okay. So how do we explain to Google what you do?
Well, we try and help them.
Okay, so you guys are being way too creative for Google, is what you're doing. She's gonna drown proof. Let's go look up drown proof and see how well that's a word in the English language. It's not. So we don't want to use that word. So I want you to understand how this is all kind of interacting. You have to use the right words for them to understand what you're saying. It's kind of like my dog. I can go up to him and I can say to him anything I want. As long as I say it like this, and I can say, I'm going to put you in the backyard and get you a new home. As long as I say it to him nicely, he thinks I'm giving him something awesome.
Sorry, question.
Go ahead.
I want to never end the argue on this. We all understand that Google speaks another language and we need to be smart to be on the front, like you're going with your company. But at the end, who read them? And that I understand that we need it because Google otherwise doesn't put us in front of everybody so nobody finds us. And that is the primary goal.
But this goes back to David's point, Tommaso. I'm going to tell you, he actually has a very valid point in all of this.
My question is, yes, you put we play the role of Google and we go in the front to be seen and found. But then who reads what is us? And we speak emotion, we speak different understanding than Google. How we can compromise to be attractive to.
There is no compromise. Okay, therein lies the problem. There is no compromise. Okay,
So we never be ended the battle between experience and how you Google mean it and how.
All right. So the answer to that is paid search, which is what he is saying. Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you something. You got up in our breakfast and you said, I'm with an organization that talks about below the belt. So you sell pants?
No,
All right. My point with below the belt is if I start talking about below the belt until that becomes a brand, okay, Google is going to think she's a pants salesman. Okay? She can get up in any breakfast she wants and says, I have a thing that says hashtag below the belt. Okay? But the reality is she's a pants salesman. She's not really. She's talking about cancers, but that's where we've got to go ahead.
Okay, would you add the word cancer? Would Google recognize?
Well, what does your belt get cancer?
No, I hope not.
Okay, so therefore it would not be. I am being stark black and white so that you all understand what I'm saying. Yes, I will tell you that when I write something, I don't have the problems, which is why I've been kind of overseeing your writing. I know how to tactically make this work, and basically you have to be a wordsmith. You can't just be a writer. So hold on. Yes, you're next. Go ahead.
What I'm hearing is that everybody in this room seems to feel very emotional about what they do.
Yes.
They write in emotional terms, but Google does not see
No.
or recognize emotion.
No.
They see literal
No.
context.
Because this is why this is kind of going to be, actually I'm kind of glad you're here, because this is going to be a good interaction on this. All right? He's right and he's wrong. You all are emotional about what you're saying, but you're trying to craft a message and fit yourself into something that you actually aren't. I'm passionate about what I do. I have no problem explaining to Google what I do. I just put up a 3,000 word essay on SSL. And I never once had a confusing moment with Google as to what I was talking about. I was funny, I was engaging, I explained it, I made fun of the Russians. I mean, I had a great time writing this article, okay? And you can read anything I write and my personality comes out, all right? The problem is we keep trying, every one of you that are kind of pushing back at me, it's because you're trying to do something non-conventional that hasn't been defined. And I understand for small business owners that's somewhat how we got where we got. But the problem is with no definition, you have no parameters, there's no perspective about what you're talking about. So unless I'm going to put a video of you on the homepage explaining why you're using the word, nobody's going to use the word experience to search for you, okay? And that's the problem I have. You sell vacations. I know you don't want to hear about that. You're a travel agent. I know you would rather be an experience agent, but you really are a travel agent. Okay? You have to. You're shaking your head no, but you have to speak in English language.
Because if you put me that concept, I'm equal.
Then you're in with Expedia. Tommaso, I understand the problem, but I'm telling you where we're at. Okay? This is where we're at today. Okay, you kind of have the problem. What do you got?
I'm a little confused because I think of Google as a search engine that reacts to what users type in.
That's right.
So I'm thinking that when it comes to keywords, et cetera, that you're trying to get into the head of people that are looking for your
Right.
product.
That's exactly right. So if I'm looking to go to a
So
trip
why are
to
we worried
Italy,
about what Google thinks about it?
okay, because here's the problem that we have. Ricky's got a propensity to do it. Tommaso has a propensity to do it. You have had a propensity to do it. I've had a red line you. Who else? Yeah, you.
Well, that's because I cut and pasted something.
I know. I got you. It's okay. But hold on a minute.
And that's a good point we're bringing up.
I didn't get there yet, but hold on, okay? So the problem is, if I am going to get on a machine that's going to relocate me to a foreign country, and I want to find out what I have to do, what am I searching to do that?
Get on a machine.
I'm trying to not say keywords, so think about what he does. What am I putting in Google to do that?
Well, I would,
I'm not
one is
putting-
I would assume vacation and not experience.
Yes, and not experience.
But that's what I'm saying is that you're trying to think of what is the user
End
gonna
user.
put in.
But unfortunately, my friend Tommaso keeps trying to tell, he is a step ahead of himself
Yeah.
because he doesn't have the people there, but he wants to tell them in his
He's trying to
speak.
make the sale after
Yes,
they've already got it on
before
his
they
website,
even
yeah.
got there. Okay, we've got to get them there before we can sell them anything. And that's this, and herein lies the problem. So Google doesn't understand what we're doing. When the person comes along, we want to sell them something, so you have to use the right language at that point, okay? But the problem is, how do you get them here first? Now you have frowny face. Why are you frowning?
She's thinking, what about travel guide? Is the guide gonna come out as a book?
Well, there you have photos. That's why I'm actually putting his travel guide back on there. I'm doing it in a way so that when I'm doing research about Rome and things to do to Rome, I may catch some people. The other thing I'm going to do is get a bunch of students looking to do a book report on Rome. It's going to give me that traffic factor to offset his wishes, for lack of a better way to say
If I
it.
hear you correctly, you're saying you've got to use the word that Google recognizes as whatever.
Related. That's why I put that word up there. They have to be related.
And you can also put your emotional stuff in as well, but Google is only going to.
Mathematically, we need to match what Google wants. I don't care if we want to say experience 150 times, but we better have 5 keywords there, and we better not put the word experience in 72-point type through the middle of our homepage like somebody I know might have done. I don't know. That guy down there. Okay. So this is not pick on you. I want you to understand how to do it right. Okay. I know you do. He's actually very good at this. I just got this experience thing is I always pick on him for it, but I want everybody to understand where our starting block is. So the next question should be, how do I find relative keywords? Would that be the next question someone might ask me? Okay. How do we find related keywords? Guess who gives them to you?
Google.
Yes, they do. Okay. You guys got one right. Okay. So let's see where they give us related keywords.
Do you Google keywords?
No, well, we could, but I'm going to actually Google vacation. Yes, no, we're going to do this. Watch. Italian, ITA. I need new glasses, so you're all going to have to just forgive me if I spell something wrong. Okay. So, I have Googled Italian vacations because guess what? That's what we're looking at, right? And if we want to do anybody else's, we'll make anybody else's too, just so we know. So, first of all, you notice that they have de-emphasized the value of the vacation and they're more wanting to tell you about Italy itself. Okay, that goes back to your point of trying to switch everybody out of organic, okay? But, when I go to the bottom of this page here, guess what I have? No. I have a list of related keywords. Is that not the coolest thing? Has anybody ever noticed that in the bottom? Okay. So if I was going to write a page about Italian vacations, one might suggest this would really be a good thing to use, and use those words in your page.
Is that on every?
Any search you do, there's a related search. Okay. The other thing other thing, I'm going to show you what else, okay? If you look in the black, I put in Italian vacations together, right? If you look, see that's Italy. I didn't put the word Italy in, but Google has said Italy is related to an Italian vacation, that's why it is bold.
Oh.
So they've now given me another source of related keywords. I need 43 of these. 43 separate sets of incidences of these words.
Or an 800 word.
That's what I'm saying, guys. This is going to get... All right, I want you to tell you, I took somebody else's homepage, not his. I rewrote it. It literally took me 6.5 hours to make the math on this come out right. And I'm good at what I do. 6 hours to fix it. There's 43 sets of related words need to appear in these pages. Yeah, let me make sure I got my math right on that, but yes. Yeah, it's 43 for 800, yes.
In Rome that I wanted to put a 4 category. Rome that has 4,000, history of Rome has 4,000 words. How many sets?
I'm stopping at 3,000. Well, we didn't get to those buckets yet. We didn't get there yet. We're going to get there. Because this is going to get, I need you to understand the core issues of this, okay? So now, I need to come up with 43 related. Now, I told you 5 of them can be Italian vacations, okay? I need to come up with 43 other instances of words. Now, I will tell you, Italian and vacation is 2. Okay, those are 2 words. They're not, Italian vacations is not 1. If I go back to my bottom, I see hands up, but let me get through this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 10. No, tours is over here. Tour and tours are the same. There's about 10 suggestions right there.
And you want to repeat each one?
No. I just need I need 43 instances of those words. I don't care if you want to say Italy 50 times in this article, have at it. It's going to not look right or read right. For those of you that actually know how to write an article, I want you to make a list of 43 standalone words. How you incorporate them and interlace them in that page, we're going to get to that in a second next. Okay? But how you incorporate them and that's your writing talent that you now need to do. But you need to know what your 43 words are before you even jump into this. Go ahead.
So basically, the 43 words you can multiply times 5.
No. You need 43. The word best must appear once. The word Italy may appear 3 times, but that's one of my 43 words. I need 43 of these related words.
In other words, they're like anchor words.
No, they're not.
No.
Searchable.
I'm telling you how to come up with the 43. That's 10. Okay. So now the next thing I may do is I may go to way too much talking. What? Yes, we're going to get our Google tool fired up here and come up with more synonyms for vacation, package. I mean, we'll come up with other variants of this. I'm going to show you the next tool in a minute too. All right, but I need everybody to understand I need 43 related words.
That's just for the 800.
That's just for the 800. It's going to get worse as we move up. Just want to let you know that.
Google is just the starting point.
Yes, we're gonna go a couple places to come up with this list, okay? All right, because this is not 43 words. I can't just pull. Now, if I was gonna look at the bottom of there, I probably could come up with another couple. Well, like I put in Italian vacations, so let's just take out Italian and put in vacation package.
What about at the bottom? You know, when you start typing and it starts pulling down things?
Yeah, you can use that too. That's another one you can use. What you're talking about is a waterfall. You can look in the waterfall and see what you can come up with. That's another option that you can do. All right, cheap vacations. Now, I wouldn't want cheap on Tommaso, but I would say that would be another one that we could use would be cheap vacation. So I put in vacation packages. Let's kind of see what they've given me in black. They're all vacation packages.
You have luxury vacation package.
All inclusive?
Well, wait. Don't jump out ahead of me. Okay. All inclusive. Now, inclusive was on my other list.
Yeah, it's already
okay. Last minute might be something. when looking for a last minute vacation package, okay, so last minute might be, now I'm gonna say that should be a hyphenated word, and that should be one, okay? Yes?
Are you saying that you can use a variation of a keyword and it counts as another keyword, like all-inclusive or just inclusive or included?
Inclusive, in the second one you gave me are the same word. Included is a different word.
Okay, so.
But included may not be a good word. Okay, I'm gonna say I have a bit of a problem with that, but I don't know why. Okay, cheap vacations, cheap may be one. Romantic we already pulled. Caribbean, maybe I want to talk about Caribbean on his site in the sense that when people think of going on vacation, sometimes they think about the Caribbean. No offense, Peter, but we're going to Italy instead because he's a Caribbean guy. Okay, but there is maybe a place that we could use Caribbean if we wanted to. I don't know that I would, but maybe.
But that is my question to ask you. Doing this, I understand we speak about Google, not us.
Right.
But you don't focus just to make traffic and not really the target traffic, because then.
Okay.
all
No.
the people
All right.
about
Wait.
They see a nice picture of the wonderful sea in Italy, and they come to me, and I tell them, say, why? You have 2 hours, you can be in the Caribbean, you go to
But Tommaso, this is how you write the article. I would never write an article that says in 2 hours I could be in the Caribbean.
I understand.
Okay?
But
A lot of people looking for Caribbean vacations are looking for a unique vacation package. Italy offers many more options. I have now just taken somebody looking for a Caribbean vacation and made them rethink their vacation decision.
But you will use that keyword to.
I may. I'm not saying I will. I'm just trying to come up, because listen, 6 hours. The class is only 2. So if I'm telling you it took me 6 hours to write 1 page, the class is 2 hours.
I have 2,500 pages.
Yes, okay, so there you go. Therein lies your problem, but that's a different set of things. Okay, we got it. We got you covered. You're in good shape.
I know, but.
All right, so, look, outfitters may be another one, even though it's not done. That maybe we could look at that. Vacation definition,
Paradise.
is paradise there?
Up at the top.
Yeah, we
Is
have
it,
the- we have
it's
the
not,
map.
it's not bolded though,
Or,
right?
Private.
Yes, and custom would be another one because that fits his personal thing. If you're looking for cheap or Expedia or something like that, that's a different one. But what we're doing is we're coming up with synonyms or related words to a vacation. Do we get that? Does everybody get
Yes.
that part?
Somebody insinuated this, but what's the difference now between related words and keywords?
Okay, keyword is the crime I'm going for. So if I wanted to rank on Italian vacations, my objective is to assemble this article properly so that Google mathematically says that that article is related and are willing to rank it. Okay, if they don't deem it related, you won't rank. So that takes you right out of the mix to start with. So we need to mathematically create an article that meets their machine capabilities. Yes. So once that happens, then we have other issues we have to talk about, but I need you to get the fundamentals right. Ricky's now going to start writing her own articles. I don't need her writing about pants and people and belts and then trying to make a case that she's a nutritionist, because it ain't happening. Okay? I got him over there that wanted to take the word vacation off his website and wanted to use experience and memories. Great, we're going to make experiences and memories, but nobody knows we sell a vacation. That's how this all works. So are we it's kind of like you. What's the name of your company again?
GTC.
Okay. Does anybody know what he does?
GT what?
No offense, Jonathan. I mean, I don't know that badly, but where I'm going with this is that he needs to be using insurance in his name. I have another. Hey, you should share with everybody.
I was just telling him that,
I was thinking
we're
between
still
them.
on the experience thing.
No small talk.
And basically, I was telling him that between me looking for an Italian vacation and his business is this machine called Google. And you
Yes.
have to speak that machine
Language.
It's cold, it's calculated.
And honestly, I'm going to tell you where the best
calculated.
places to make your case in this is with images and videos that they can't read. So
Right.
mathematically, I can do what I want and then put a video. And we've talked about my Melia site a couple times in these classes. What I did is I took his marketing message and put it in a video. And then I took the machine part of it, and I have the machine part of it to score. So when you get there, your natural inclination is going to be to click his video, and he's going to address you. Cute as he may be, he's going to address you. Okay? And that's the right way to come up with your messaging. All right? I can sit there from now till doomsday and talk about SEO, blah, 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 blah. There's not one person on this earth, well, I shouldn't say one person, there's several, that know more than Dominic. Okay? He knows more than I do tactically because his mind works more like that. All right? How do I convey that? We're not like your average SEO. We're not going to rip your money off. Let's start with that. Okay? So I have to go out of my way to get graphical images. If I just start talking about rip-offs and giving people your money, what's going to happen? They're not going to realize I'm a web hosting company. They're going to think I'm Consumer Reports. Okay? So I have to speak their language and then wrap my stuff around it, which is why I've told you that video of the Daughters of the Italian thing that you took to Sicily is the best video I've ever seen, because he has people having fun on a vacation. All right? If you want to know about a vacation, I told him he needs to go on people's weddings and honeymoons. I mean, I don't know how you do that, but I just think you need to go. All right? But that's where, there's a video of him eating a cannoli in a shop somewhere. Okay, that he put on Facebook. That video is worth more to him than any experience vacation I can have, because him eating that cannoli is worth 1,000 words. You ever hear the expression a picture's worth 1,000? Google can't see him eating a cannoli. You can.
Well, you link the Facebook link to Google.
I'm not linking. I got to pull it through. It's not that you link it through Google. I'm putting it on a page of content. All right? So this is where we've got to understand. But I need you to mechanically, this is a mechanics class today. This is not how do I get my marketing message. This is how do I get Google. Because without Google, you can have a marketing message from now till doomsday. You have no people. And that's been a very core argument, fundamental argument I've had since we have opened our doors, because web designers come in and make beautiful websites. Nobody can see them, nobody ranks them, and nobody visits them. So it's the old, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a noise? I mean, that's really what we're talking about. Okay? All right? So you guys can have the best of everything. It doesn't matter if nobody sees you. Okay? The key, traffic is always first. And that's always where I have a problem, because people always want to tell me about what they want to tell somebody when they get there. But if they're not there, who cares? I mean, this is a chicken and an egg problem, guys. He's not alone. I have this conversation at least 3 times a day with people, because their focus is on, how do I put my brand out there? How do you build a brand? How do I engage my audience? You have no audience. So let's get the audience, and then we'll figure out how we engage them. It's a different set of issues. Go ahead first, Peter.
How does these 43 words, for example, relate back to the meta tags, keywords there?
There's no meta tags. I never said the word meta tags.
That's what I was asking.
Well, they're related. We said our keyword in this case is Italian vacations. I just came up with 20, what do I got? Up to about 17 of them, roughly, basically, what we just found. So I've got 17 out of 43 so far covered with looking at Google Waterfall, and some additional searches.
Okay, so there's no need then to go back to the meta tags and add.
No, stop talking about meta tags. Google stopped honoring meta tags in 2009, so let's not talk about 2009. It's 2017. We're almost a decade past that, okay? So that's the problems. We get these ideas in our head. I still have people asking how to use front page. Go ahead.
So this is just my little anecdotal thing. It annoys me when I go to a website that automatically starts a video.
Oh, you never start a video on automatic. It needs to be up to your discretion when you start that video.
Yeah.
Okay. That I would never tell any of you to autoplay a video. Okay, because that's annoying as all hell.
So why does the chamber do it?
We're in the process of, no wait, we're in the, they hired a new web company, and the new web company said, get that out of here. We're not playing Genie Bottle music, sorry. And we're not. No, we're not doing that anymore.
I'm not in charge of the website.
Huh?
I'm in charge of
Oh, you are?
I'm not in charge of the website.
Oh, you're not in charge of the website. I am. Yes.
Once you start your article and then put a video in there and then.
Yes, all right, so let's look at something like that. The other thing is the video has to be germane. That's another problem I think Tommaso has, is we don't have a germane video. Not to be confused with germane.
Related.
Huh?
No, it's
Not to be, no ethnic jokes now. All right, it's got to be something that people, just a video of the boat sailing through Italy is not going to help us. Okay, because it doesn't speak to you. That's why I keep telling you about that video of the women. That's the only video that should appear on that homepage at this point, because that makes your case. Okay, so let's come back to brand in a second. Okay. Okay. This is the page that took me hours to write, just FYI. I literally spent a whole Saturday. I thought, oh, I'll just do this easy peasy. I'm quick. I'm quicker than you. I can just get it right out.
You are.
All right? It was hours and hours and hours later. Off we went. Okay, so I've got his whole little story here. But if you come down here, my first frame says how to get a moving quote. If I play that video, Brandon's going to tell you how to get a moving quote. And by the time it's over he's going to tell you, not by calling anybody out, but he's going to tell you why when you call somebody on the phone and ask for a moving quote, they can't give it to you. They're basically making up numbers when you call them on the phone and ask for a moving quote. Okay? So he's explaining that. So when he's got almost a 20% close rate on this website, for people that come there, 1/5 of the people sign up service with him, solely because he's making the case and the argument with the people. So,
How long is the video?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah. What are you looking for?
If you have a 20% closing rate on the video, why do I have to scroll all the way?
Because I have to put this in the same order for Google. And actually, it's this here, and the other thing that I'm doing is throwing it in off Facebook sideways. So there's, again, everything doesn't exist in a vacuum, but you're right, I could bring it up. It's why I want to bring your postcards up above the travel packages. Okay, I'll bring his site up in a minute. I actually put postcards on his website, true, honest-to-goodness postcards that people send him, okay, with a stamp on it as recent as last week.
Endorsement.
Huh? Those are endorsements, yes.
Yes.
I want to actually bring them up literally under the fold of his website. Like when you come to the homepage, you have your little picture, then we have postcards that says, Tommaso's awesome. Because to me, that speaks more volumes than any experience-y thingy we can. You want to make a brand, let your own customers talk for you. Okay? That's, to me, they're the most powerful asset we have, to be quite honest with you. All right? So I keep trying to eke that thing higher and higher. To your point, it doesn't work for Google to bring that up. The only other thing I could think to do, and I honestly have had the thought of putting it in this space here and then dropping the form here, but I'm a little reticent to do that because I have paid search coming to this page, and I don't want them to have to figure out.
It could be up there with
Huh?
it could be up there in a smaller box. versus-
No, it's going to lose its impact. You got to remember, you're looking at this on an 80-inch screen. When you look at it on a smaller screen, it fits better. So I've been in my head thinking to put that video in that box where it says get a moving quote now, or take this box off and put that, but it's, like I said, it's grinding in my head. It's working at 20%. How much more am I going to get? That's abnormally high. It's presently, it is 19% higher than the rest of the internet at the moment. So how much do I want to screw with it? That's the back end hand of that. Okay, so you feasibly could break it and try and make it better, I guess is the best way to say it, and then you'd have to revert it back.
What I was looking at was right next to that, you have a box which says get a moving quote now. And your video actually links to that box.
No, I know, but I'm trying to figure out what to do with those people that say we're with the Better Business Bureau and we're awesome. That's the other part of this problem. It's one of those things. Anyway, okay, I don't want to get too far off, but if we start to look at this, we see I have Houston, I have movers, I have our brand. If you start to read through this, you're going to see that we have a lot of related words in this article. All right, everything from moving, accurate, quote, Houston, office, international, packing, custom, crating, residential, blah, 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 blah. Took me forever to get this thing written. Okay, and then even in here, I had to actually work my words into this verbiage here. Once I decided I wanted to do this, I actually had to work my words into that. I think I'm a little bit over on the word Houston. I think I'm going to take the word Houston out just a couple times and dial it back a little bit because I think I have it there too much. But I had to wait 2 weeks to see what it did before I changed my mind. So, but, okay.
Are these international accepted symbols or what?
No, they just, when you look at them, they're cruise and truck and first aid, and they're not anything international. I tried to pick the closest icon to what I wanted.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't think there's an international moving symbol for some of these. Awards maybe, background checks maybe, annual physicals, but damage rate. What would you put damage? You know, so if I put something negative, broken, the inference might be we break stuff. So I didn't want to go with a broken something. So, okay. Did you have a question?
Yeah, talked about 43. We talked about Italy.
Mm-hmm.
We've now talked about Houston. Is there a point where Google
Yes.
penalizes you?
Yes, and that's why I think I have too many Houstons. I actually think I have too many Houstons in this page right now, to be honest with you. But that's something that I would have to look at to decide. Like for him, his trips to Italy, so I don't know how far over I can go on that without it being, I don't want it stuffed in there. And I think this is a little stuffed. I'm going to show you the next piece of this, and I'll show you why I did what I did. I'll show you the methodology of how I got there. But then I think we've got to back some of it out, to be honest with you. Okay? So, we kind of with me, okay? The other thing we can use is the Google Keyword Tool, okay? The Google Keyword Tool will also give you hundreds of synonyms for a word you put in. So we have that at our disposal. So if I go to the Google Keyword Tool, let me do that. Does everybody know how to get there? If nobody, I have no. I have what? No. Okay. All right. So. Oh, by the way, by popular demand, I put a real calendar on SEO 411 and a whole new website up this morning.
Wow.
Just because you guys been on me about no calendar. Where was I on Google?
Google Keyword Tool.
Sally made me put a calendar on my page.
Huh?
Sally made me put a calendar on my page.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, everybody keeps arguing with me about putting a calendar up, so I finally kind of gave up and put a calendar up.
Put me on the spot.
We seniors have to have everything written down.
In the middle of the presentation, you said, you have a calendar on your website? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. This
All right.
afternoon I do.
So we're going to go to adwords.google.com. Write that down because you need it. adwords.google.com.
Oh.
Is there any way you can make that text a little bit?
No. Unfortunately, no. I can't make it. No. No, because I won't be able to see the computer screen. Sorry. I have to be able to. No. Well, just come up, sit up, move up closer if you can't see. If you come sit here close, you can't see the screen still? Come on up. That's going to be the best thing I can do because I'm trying to, my screen adjusts to fit this monitor, so I won't be able to see my screen. So I need like Coke bottles to see this thing. So, all right.
Is this your camera? That's your
Yes, don't sit in front of it. Come around this side. Come right here.
I'm going back.
Once you're in your account, you can pick tools, and then you're going to pick keyword planner.
Do you have to have an AdWords?
No.
AdWords.google.com.
AdWords.google.com.
Now you're in Keyword Planner.
Yes, and I'm in keyword planner. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me suggestions. Yes, I can really see this myself.
What if you type in vacation?
I'm going to. And actually, I'm going to put in the word Italy underneath it so it quantifies things. Because you guys are overlooking something as we're having my 43 on Italian vacation discussion. Tommaso,
Yes, Alisa.
how many regions are there?
20 plus Italy, 21.
Okay, and how many cities are there?
94.
Okay, I just came up with 94 and 80, 21 more keywords I can add to that list. You see how I did that like that? Just simply by asking him geography. Now, if you're a mover, you're not going to have that easy of a lift, okay? But when I put in, it gives me vacation packages, inclusive resorts, vacation deals, cheap vacations, travel packages, travel deals. It gives me related keywords. I have a whole list of them now. I can go proof them against my list that I made off the bottom.
Also tells you what their ratings are.
Don't go getting into the minutia of this, please. Okay? I need you, listen, this is really technical that I'm trying to simplify for everybody. I'm not trying to, I just need you to kind of stay focused. I just need you to use this column. The rest of it doesn't matter for today. Okay? All right. So now I have last minute, cheap, all-inclusive, best, vacations to go. Go ahead.
Do I have to have an AdWords account to get on this page?
Yes. But you don't have to pay them. The second it says put a credit card in, don't. Okay? So you set it up, you go to it, hit your keyword tool, you're all good. If you try to come back, if it starts to ask you a credit card, do not put one in. Okay? Period.
So can I get to this from the Google business page?
You go to adwords.google.com.
Follow directions.
Follow directions. I'm really trying to spoon feed this to everybody because it's that complicated. If I'm telling you it took me 6 hours to do one thing, that should tell you how complicated this is. Okay? All right. So now I have all of these. Okay? So I now should have my 43 words. We kind of agree that we can kind of make 43 words by the time we've done this. Does anybody not think that I've now given you 43 separate opportunities? Yes.
When you spent 6.5 hours rewriting, is this the process?
I'm giving you the process, yes. I'm giving it to you, but this is the next piece I'm going to give you is where your head's going to explode. Okay? I just want to let you know.
The excitement is about to begin.
Huh?
The excitement is about to begin.
All right? So, are we good? Everybody following me up to this point. So, we know how to get we know we've got our key term. We know what we want to rank on, right? We know how to get related keywords, right?
Yes.
Does anybody have a question? Okay. So now we have to say, what are we going to do with it? So we've written our page. So we're going to sit down and we're going to write a page. And we're going to assume we've written our whole page, right? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so we've written a page. All right. So now I'm going to go to this site. And this is going to cost you a penny a page.
What is that?
It's called ntopic. Letter N, topic.org. Huh?
Haven't heard.
I know, that's why I said this class is going to be like everybody needed to be here.
You said ntopic.org.
ntopic.org. Letter N, topic.org. Okay, are we good?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to log in. And you have to buy $10 worth of credits to be able to use this.
Is it $10?
Yes, $10 worth of credits. It's 100 pages you can look over. Okay? You have to. No, it's more. No, then maybe it's a dime a page because it's 100. I get 100 credits for $10, so I guess it's a dime a page. Bad math. All right. So we good so far? Okay. So we come here and let me see if I can find. Let's see what I have here. Notice I was working on some muscle stuff this morning. Anybody notice that?
Let's speak English.
You will be invoiced.
Uh-huh. I'm trying to find where I did Brandon's. I actually did it in this. But... All right, let's just pick this umbilical dermatology page. Let me. It's probably not long enough. David, is this the one you wrote? 80 integrators?
Yeah.
I must have it because Kelly sent it to me.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, this is good.
I hope it rains.
Huh?
I hope it rains.
Well, I'm going to do it this way because I don't know that we put it through this. So hold on.
Well, she said they use Grammarly.
No, we do use Grammarly, but that's not for what that's not for this discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the red lines that?
That's my software fixing something. That is I have a Grammarly plugin that corrects stuff for me on the fly. But again, I don't want to get off too far here on this. All right. So this page is talking about, what was the keyword on this? AV integrators?
Yes.
All right. So that's what we would want to rank on. AV integrators. What this is checking is it's taking the top 10 results in Google, and it's coming up to how relevant your page is against what everybody else is. So, yeah, got 97.36, pretty darn good.
Out of 100?
Out of 100. Looking for AV integrators. So he used, unbeknownst to the world, you used enough related words for this to score a 93 or 97. Very good.
About all your tricks.
Well, but that we haven't given all the. If the problem is to go back and retrofit something, when we gave you that, we're giving you what we're trying to do with the writers now. We're doing it with yours too. I actually have a guy in his office that gives me a bulleted list of what I need to cover on each region of the city. So when you write that page, you accidentally almost come up with the right. When we gave you your assignment, it was almost, we kind of broke it out. We didn't just say, here, just go. We did?
Had very few words.
Had very few. She just gave you AV integrator without?
AV integrators and tell me what the issues are that they come up with.
Okay, but see that?
Pretty much the direction that I got.
But that issue, those issues, yeah, and that is honestly something that we'll do. But those issues, that what she gave you was enough for you to come up with had she not given you that sentence, you might not have come up with the right answer.
There was some magic in the simplicity of it.
Huh?
I think there was some magic in the simplicity of it. It
Yes.
made me search and think about different ways of things. You know, having been
To answer the question.
Yes.
Right. So, and I have another one that we did that I actually said I wanted a overview of the job market for financial people graduating with financial degrees, and I asked a series of questions, but because I knew what I wanted that page to rank on, so I basically said these are what I want this page. If you answer these questions, you're going to get this right. But I'm trying to teach you guys the mechanics of all of this. All right. So, what this did is it took the top websites that rank on AV integrators, and it's given me a breakout of how many times the word appears within their article, which is the first column, and the second column is our article. All right. Why the Amelia page took me so long to write is because I was trying to match it one for one. Okay, so if it said I needed 5 instances of Houston, I put in 5 instances of Houston. If it said I needed 10 instances of the word movers, I tried to work in 10 instances of the word movers into my existing copy. So I probably would need to tweak this a little bit because we're trying to rank on AV integrators. Integrators, we only have there less than 1% of the overall density of the word. So I've got to go back and figure out why that is. All right, it should have been there 5%. We've only got it less than 1.
Let me ask you this. Every time that I put it in there, I have a dash between it.
And that may have cost it, but I'm looking at the word integrators. I'm not looking at AV. I'm just looking at the word integrators. Okay? So, but my integrator word is low. Audio video is pretty close, or word audio rather. I may want to beef that up a little bit. Integration, need to beef that up. So now I got to try to tweak that to get these words in here. Thus is the 8 hours. Go ahead.
Could you tell me the process? Did you write the article?
Yes.
Or movie cover?
Yes. And then I put it in there. Yeah.
And then you went back?
You
and
can't.
tweaked it?
Yeah. You have to. You're going to have to reverse engineer these. You cannot do this ahead of time.
How are hyphenated words treated by Google? I mean, if you have self-space defense or self-dash defense,
One more.
it is treated as
One
one
more.
word.
Yep.
Can you edit in that?
No.
Sorry, Beth.
Yes.
Now, I assume that the red column is because you tell you where to work on to fix it.
Yes. And what I actually think my plan is going to be, because this is somewhat new in how we're going to integrate all of this, I may go put that page up. I think we did put it up the way it stands now, and see where it ranks. If it ranks without me fiddling with it, I'm not going to fiddle with it, okay? If it doesn't rank, then I need to come back and start to look at it and say, what do I need to change to make it more relevant? Now, if I try to get that relevancy out of the box, and I get it right, it's just naturally going to rank anyway. So this is where this becomes a chicken and an egg, and when do you touch stuff and having to have the feel for it. But if at least you kind of know what you're supposed to be doing, you just can't go write a page anymore, blah, 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 keyword, blah, 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 keyword. Because the other problem is it has to be interesting. That's one thing with you. You actually write interesting copy. I have one guy that no matter what I do, he is as boring can be. I don't know what to do with him. I'm like ready to go sprinkle salt on his head and hope that might help. That's how much trouble I have. Go ahead.
So my question was, besides the red and green there, with 97% of David copyright, in theory should be ranking in the first page, in theory. I know it's not of that.
I'm going to say yes and no, and I'll tell you where I see the deficiencies. They should have 5%, it's got less than 1.
If you fix that and assume that there was mostly green.
Okay, so now you're going to start, in theory, yes, but now if I have no traffic to it, I have no links to it, and I have no support for it, no, it won't rank. So there becomes the next aspect of that. But this is like, if you pour a foundation and the foundation is tipped, the foundation is going to be tipped forever. Okay? And I can't fix it. So I have to find these fundamental blocks and fix them ahead of time. Like for you, Erica, it's a brand new website. So I have no screw ups. For you, I have a 14-year-old website that I have 2,500 pages that don't match. Okay? Huh? But you understand what I'm saying. So you have to look. I'm going to tell you, on the Amelia site, I had to delete 400 and some odd pages off his website because they had no traffic. Google said they were no good, and it was throwing off the entire. Yes. So I just went in and deleted 400 pages like that. Within a matter of an hour, I trimmed 400 pages. I actually want to do the same thing to yours, which is why I keep saying I want to take the packages off, because I think that's where if we go in and cut them, we're going to shift ourselves back a little bit based on what I'm seeing. I never ask a question without having a reason to ask the question. He's got 1,600 packages on that website. More than 90% of them nobody go to. So if I told you the story about Google, if I tell you the story about Google and traffic, remember I told you if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it? Okay, I have 1,500 out of 1,600 trees falling that nobody's hearing.
How do you find out that
Google changed it in January
Yes.
for the traffic. Italian vacation, there were 200 million websites. I was on the first, second page every day. I disappeared. So
this is where, and you're saying, how do I find out?
if there's no traffic?
It's very easy to know if there's traffic to something. So easy, you're going to say, really? Okay, do you have Google Analytics?
I do.
Okay, you have Google Chrome?
I do.
Okay, there is a plugin for Google Chrome.
Sorry, before we get off that page real quick.
No, we're going to go answer her question, and I'm going to come back to you. Hold on. Let's go to trips to Italy. There's a little plugin that is called Google Analytics plugin, and what it lets me do is it lets me look a page. So I'm going to go to one of his destination pages, and I'm going to pick the one that nobody goes to. So let's go to here. And I'm going to turn this on. And I'm sorry, usually I take more questions, but there's so much to cover here. This is literally a fire hose class today, so I just want everybody to understand that. I'm trying to keep everybody on point and topic. Alrighty, let's see.
who's the guy in the picture?
Okay, so now, this page in the last week has had 4 visits. So that's an okay page. I'm okay with 4 visits. There's some traffic to that page. I'm leaving that page. I'm going to change it because it's a weak page, but that page is okay. So you see up there, it tells me how many in a week's time, how many I had.
And you
Okay.
clicked on the islands tab, so that's the article that you're looking at.
Yes, that's the article. Any page on his website I can go to, it will give me the analytics of that page. That's a bad page because nobody has clicked on that.
And so you would delete it, or you try to modify it? Or
In his case, okay, so there's 2 ways to do this, okay? And you have to make a decision. In his case, I can make a real page out of that, meaning that I can talk about the food of that area, and I can kind of, hey, you were a hit today.
you?
I'm doing good. Everybody loved it. That's the new caterer, so everybody tell them. Okay, so when I look at this page, Food in One, I have a couple options. I could either go here and improve this page, which is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to reinforce it through Facebook. I'm going to reinforce it through Twitter and see if I can kind of generate some traffic for that page to get it into Google's psyche. Okay, I'm not going to delete it. And that's why I want to go with these informational pages on his website, because he actually has a vehicle to do that. But if I'm a moving company, how many different ways can I tell you that? Pick a good mover. Okay? When I say I had 400 pages that said, the list was endless. Okay? When you do that, it doesn't work for a moving company. Okay? I have a carpet cleaning company that I have about 2,000 pages. When I look at it, almost 70% of their pages have traffic to it. So my ratio, I actually did ratios on all of these. The sites that are having problems, and Tommaso's site's having problems. Brandon's site's having a problem too, because they took him off his keywords, and when they did, his traffic fell. So we're having this how do I get traffic back to you problem. But in both of those cases, the user ratio of number of pages versus how many pages were actually used is way out of whack. Yours is below 30%, and Brandon's was like 33%. So I know that that's a bad ratio if I have that many pages with that little usage. Does everybody understand why I'm?
I do, but I don't understand why you wouldn't just combine the 2 pages and
Well,
get more hits off.
You know, I have a progression to go with this, because were those pages ever done this way before? No, right? Huh? They weren't. Were they individual pages all the way along?
Since 2003.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Okay. So here's the thing. All right. Because I had the apparatus, and that's why they are that way. Because I had the apparatus and the framework from the old site that I had to do before. It used to be volume. Now it's not volume. Now it's quality. So before it was quantity. Now it's quality. I can't, because I don't think I can just delete the food page. I guess.
Integrated with the other one.
No, I get what you're saying. I'd literally be deleting the food page when I did it. All right. So do I want to do that? And if I do that, do I do that across everybody? Or do I do it just to the one? That becomes a Pandora's box of what do you do. So the first thing you do is put good content on them and see how the cookie crumbles. That's still, no food pun intended on that. But that's at least the way I would approach it, is fill it all in and see what they do. I know this is not so good. If you read it, you can tell it's not so good.
You know, this was one of the
Yeah, okay. So I'm writing this just to make words, okay? So let me see how many Italian spices I can get in one sentence.
Yeah.
Caper, rosemary, basil, oregano, tomatoes, eggplants, jams, honey, nuts, fruit, and fish.
Wow.
The heck kind of sentence is that? It's not. That's how do I get as many? I need to get my keyword up. And I will tell you that's a problem. And I'm going to say this for you, because you do this hype. You paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you too, if you ever start writing for us, the issue with this is going to be, if I say write a page that's 1,200 words and you get to 1,000 and you have nothing else to say, please do not add 200 words to that article. And that's where I see the problem. I see that problem everywhere, because if I tell you 800 and you get to 6, you go add 200 words worth of nothingness to it just to fluff it out. And then it reads like, bleh. All right? I keep wanting to say what you got to say. I don't think you can say what you need to say in 300 words. I just don't see that as to be a possibility. All right? For you to write a good article on something, 300 is never going to cut it. But when you start to get to 500, 600, 700 words, you theoretically could have something reasonable on your hands. Okay?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I had an agreement with Kelly, and I said, look, if I get to a point where I feel like I'm just adding,
I need you to stop. Don't write anymore.
Stop, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna call you.
Yeah. Don't even call her. Just stop. Tell her Beth said to stop. She knows that's my policy anyway. Go ahead.
I'm usually the other way around. I will write ad infinitum and then come back and pare it down. My weekly things, I cut it off at 180 words, but they usually start at 250 words.
Okay. The thing is, when you're trying to write something that is I'm going to give you an example of something on how I handled this, all right? I have an opinion on Google, all right? And my opinion on Google is this. I'm going to show you what my opinion is, because you'll see what I did to get around this. This is a good example, and this is an example of understanding what you're doing and then knowing how to execute it. I am very upset that Google's forcing everybody to go to SSL on their website. Completely upset about it. And the reason I'm upset about it is because it's an improper use of an SSL certificate. SSL was only done if you wanted to transmit information, credit card, name and address, anything you needed to encrypt or scramble so nobody stole it, okay? It should not be done on every page of a website. His picture of Venice does not need to be encrypted. They are requiring everybody to encrypt everything, okay? And the reason they're doing it is so that they can transfer your data to them and make a legal argument to a judge saying, hey, we're gonna go, this is my theory, I'm gonna say that up front, but I can go to a judge and say, hey judge, I understand you have privacy concerns, but these people agreed to allow me to take their data, and I'm doing it securely, so what's your beef? Okay, so they're forcing everybody into this. So I wanted to write an article about that, but if I just said that in an article, let me show you how long that took for me to say that. Okay, let me go to this article's page.
What's your headline?
Nice
Well,
by the way.
yes, but that's a whole nother class all by itself. They have to have headlines like this, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, but if you come all the way down to the bottom, okay, that is my blog post. You see how small that is? So I said, I can't just get up there and make a whole discussion and just say what I want to say and be done with it, because it'd be boring and nobody would want to do it, and it didn't make the pros and the cons and everything. It didn't explain the situation. So what I did is, I knew that I wanted this paragraph, but I said, for the general public, would they not need to understand what an SSL certificate is, what it does, how it gets implemented, and why I'm against it? So the real blog post, which is why I'm against it, is at the very bottom. The whole rest of it is a self-help guide of what is an SSL certificate, how does it work, and what does it protect. Okay? Oh, and why that even though I'm against it, I'm telling you, you have to do it. Yes, Peter?
Is Microsoft requiring the same?
Bing? It doesn't matter. I don't care who's requiring it. If you want traffic on your website, they're going to put this warning. Ricky, you had it happen to you the other day, and you called me freaking out.
Yes.
They put that warning on everybody's website. Are you going to somebody's website with that big warning on it? No. All that warning says is this person didn't buy an SSL certificate. It's no big deal. But it looks big and scary, doesn't it? Okay? But it's not because they're trying to force everybody into the secure model.
Is that a profit motive?
Hold on, he's next. Go ahead.
If you're not computer savvy,
You don't even know how to get around it. That's exactly right. As far as a profit, no. But what it does is stop them from getting sued for $2 billion. Because I'm going to the judge and saying my terms of service said I can do this, and I'm doing it securely.
But if you have to pay for an SSL certificate.
Yeah, but you're not paying Google. You're paying your web host for that.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so you're not paying Google. There's nothing. Google's doing it so they can move your data to them securely, and you'll have no say-so. You have no leg to stand on now. Again, that's my opinion, but that's where.
I've even heard things like with Facebook. If you post a photograph on Facebook, they own it.
I probably yes, but I just not going to go into all of that.
That's fine.
But yes, I want you. So, but I want to understand is I have a little tiny post that I put this whole big cocoon around. Okay. But you have to be inventive to do it. I didn't beef this. There's not one extra word in this article. And this thing is 2,200 words. Okay? So for me to get where I wanted to go, I had to explain it to like Ricky. No offense, Ricky, but this article's written for somebody like you to read and understand what you have to do and why. Okay? So everybody kind of get how you kind of circle back. So as you're saying, you write and write and write and write. I can see that, but make sure you have a reason of what you're writing, and then deciding what to cut back on.
And that's your content. And at the end of your content, then you're saying, and here's what you can do about it.
Well, and that's what I did in this particular post, okay? But this post, let me look at the one before that I just did yesterday or this week or whatever it is. Okay, so this popped up on my Facebook scroll. And it says, basically what it says is the biggest problem I have in my life is customers. That's what it basically says. But I thought about it, and I said, let me go. So I went through 10 things that people want to tell me they know about SEO that they have no idea what they're talking about. Okay? So, because everybody, just like you did it to me. You were going to tell me about meta keywords. They have no meaning in my life. They mean nothing to me. But you were going to tell me that you knew that meta keyword, weren't you? But that's what happens. People come up to me all the time and try to explain to me what they know about this. Yeah, it ain't happening. So I have 10 points. So it's just a base bulleted list of 10 things, 10 stupid things I've seen people do or say. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Is there any rule of thumb as far as a length beyond which people will not read? I mean, you know, the old thing about advertising, like mail advertising.
Yeah,
you know, bullet
see,
points,
that's...
catch their attention, tell them what you need to say, and get off, because they're not going to read it.
Well, okay,
And
so
you're
this
talking
is...
like 2,200.
All right, so let me give you the Google matrix on this, okay? You have to keep somebody on your page for a certain amount of time. Okay, let's say 30 seconds. Say 45 seconds. Most people are going to scan this. So if you notice what I did, I put a nice little box in there to aid their scanning. So if I want to hear about, talk about building citation and links, I can just click on that and jump to that piece of the website. I kind of use the Wikipedia. It's a plug-in, but I use Wikipedia to kind of guide that because I know that's so long. This is where, actually, what time is it? Oh, all right. So we're going to jump out. We're never going to get to the other two. See how my life works? Okay. We're going to get to this because this is a really good thing. The question is, how did I get those boxes in there, right? All right. Anybody with newspaper background? You? Put your hand up. You can. Anybody else? You? Okay. So you? Okay. So you know we all have a headline, right? Yes. You all know we have like sub-headlines, right? You know that you can put a big headline and a little headline, right? Everybody with me? So when we got to the world of HTML, I'm not doing these on scale. What I'm going to do is this. There's nobody here's young enough, I don't think, right?
Oh, we have 2 millennials.
Does anybody know what I don't mean? Nobody in here knows. Do you know what I mean when I say do beach trimming? Yeah, you're Italian. You don't count. What is this? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? They did a whole big thing, Dewey Beach Truman, because he won the election, and it was the entire front page of the New York Times, Chicago Tribune, and he didn't win. So they released this newspaper with the wrong headline, but that's the size we're talking, okay? There's not a lot of use. I can't even think of something that would be, I guess the heading of let's say the table of contents on a newspaper. So those of you that remember newspapers, okay, I know, right? Okay, this carried over. So I've got World at War, World War II, Dewey Beach Truman, Texans draft Watson #1 would be an example of like a smaller headline with H2. Really important, but not screaming word. Okay, everybody understand the difference? Okay. The next thing you may see is if I look at if I turn the New York Times over, you get down to the bottom. Mayor beats homeless. Mayor passes rules to stop windshield wipers, windshield washers. You know, anything along those lines. That type of but they're usually below the fold on a newspaper. So if I took a newspaper and turned it, if it's cut in half and I turned it that size. When you open a new one, it may say Gardens Club meets Saturday, and there's a little article about the Ladies Garden Club in the community, okay? This is an obit headline, so if you don't pay, it's just a normal little bolded text you would see for somebody's obituary for their name and their age, okay? I want you to have a visual of what I'm talking about. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Google has adopted this, and what they're looking for in this is what are you saying is important, how many times you say it. So if I was in a newspaper, I know I only use this one time, okay? So I may only use that one time, all right? And what did I put in there? Keywords, all right? So if we start to look back at my page, I'm going to kind of use the same theory over here with it. All right. What am I going for in this one here? This is an H2 on every one of them. We're going to try to put no more than 7 on a page, but what am I going for in that? Can anybody tell me what keywords I was putting in there?
PPC.
No, PPC. PPC and organic search. Because those two things, people think they're related a lot of the time, and that's a common search, so I would want them to find that, okay? Pay-per-click.
I thought your whole article was around SSL certificate.
No, this one is my 10 things people say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right? If we can go back to the other one in a minute, but this one better identifies what I'm going for here on this. I didn't write this for teaching purposes. Each and every one of these have different attributes to them because they make sense. Sometimes I put a bulleted list in, sometimes the whole article is the bulleted list. The whole article on this one is a bulleted list. It's a 10-point set of bullets. It's really all it is, okay? With an explanation of what the bullets are. So, talks about, what am I going for this one? Anybody want to tell me what that one is? Huh? Building links. That's what I'm going for in that one. Again, it's an H2, all right? What am I going for in the next one?
Social sharing.
That social sharing. No, not social media, social sharing. Okay? Oh, look, you actually made the list, Peter. Okay? So, all you need is a good meta tag, all right?
They're still H2s.
And but all of those are H2s. If you read the thing, it says, Google stopped honoring in 2009, just in case. So this was written pre, I knew you were going to say that. That was not staged, okay? So we're good so far. All right, and then it says, next one, what am I looking for? Domains or keyword-rich domains. That's what I was going for on that, okay? Pricing is all by its own. I've gotten so far down the list now that some of these start SEO companies, ranking website. You see how they're buried in these, that they're not in your face? And they're also not standalone, Tommaso. That they make sense, that the sentence, for your benefit, you have a very bad habit of making a large set of things and just having it be the keyword. If you notice, mine are actually phrases now, and the keyword's embedded in the phrase because I'm not trying to spam the keyword into Google. I'm just trying to emphasize and let them know. Again, using that relational model, I'm just trying to let them know what it's about.
But the other thing too, that is your, even though that's 2,800 words, it doesn't feel it's digestible.
That's the point. That's the other thing we're going for here on this. That's why you're here today. He's here to learn how to do H1 tags. You're here to understand when I say 2,500 words, what I want to do with it. Okay? So what he's saying is that you don't feel like this is a 2,500 word article, do you? Okay? The other thing is if I go run back over to my my hacking article, you'll see inside of this I do have hacking, brute force hacks, telnet, SSH. I put the things in so that I had that relational mechanism. If somebody wanted, I'll never rank on hacking, nor do I want to, okay? But I was trying to reinforce the SSL aspect of this, so I put all the things that are important to Google about an SSL certificate, and if you notice, they're all in bold, okay? And I even went for what is encryption, because that's a Google question that Google may take that and say, hey, this answers that question, that paragraph answers it, so we'll feature that. So I even went as far as to do that, Okay, and you notice there's a couple questions in there. Why forcing websites to HTTPS breaks and organic? I'm going to tell you that this page ranks number 5 on should I secure my website. All right, there's several of those terms that are, should I put in SSL, should I do this? This page is now number 5 behind several of the SEO journals that are out there. So I apparently must have done a good job on this because Google's now has it sitting number 5. Okay, but that's what I was going for because I'm sending, you see my relational keywords are involved. It's digestible like you're saying. Literally, I can open this page and just read the paragraph underneath it and that's it. I don't have to read the rest of that article at almost it's mini articles inside articles, if you will. All right? I don't know if everybody sees that or not. So as you're asking me, how do people interact with it? Well, if you just wanted to know what hacking was, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be the rule, if you had 5 points, it was 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, because people read the top.
In the bottom, yeah. Well, that's why I stuck them in the middle. Google's reading from the top down, so I can't go to the old school like a newspaper, from a newspaper end of it. They're reading top down. So if it's on the top, it's the most important. If it's on the bottom, it's the least important. It's the old inverted pyramid out of the newspaper that you're just straight down the road. Okay?
But I would think beyond that, because today's millennial is now 35, basically.
Right.
And they're not going to read.
No, but
They're
they
not
may
gonna read
pick a
2,500-page, multiple paragraph article. It has to be broken down.
Well, but the way I've got this broken down is very digestible and very readable. And that's what you need to go for. So if you've noticed some of the things, we're putting some heads in those paragraphs. That's partly why I'm breaking some of your articles up with pictures. As you're talking about things, those pictures, I keep correcting you on pictures, but I'm not correcting you. But the pictures that I'm putting in are designed to grab the attention, like that one of the olive press that you took off and said, what is it? He's got an olive press, and it's not the best picture. It had some artistic qualities to it, so what I did is cropped around it and enhanced it, and put it next to, they were saying that olive oil was very important in the Tuscany area of Italy. So I stuck it there so if nothing else, somebody's gonna scroll down to see the pictures. That's what I was going for. As long as those pictures kind of match the text, is where we're heading for. People, faces, happiness. It wasn't just a tourist pictures, like a picture book of Italy. I'm trying to go for unique things that you normally don't see on an Italian website. So I'm going through, he's got pictures that people have sent him. So we're very fortunate that we have thousands and thousands of pictures. They're not the pictures you go to a stock site and find. So I'm matching those pictures back to the text. Let me show you what I did on the moving site, because I've told you all to use Canva. You've heard me say that, but here, look at what I did on his. Actually, this Living in Houston one. All right, I don't expect anybody to read the article, but there's what my article says. There's a graphic of what that is, moving mishaps. All right, if you scroll down, you'll find that every one of them are there. Okay? And you notice I'm still being quippy with my headlines, my sub-headlines, that people may wonder what I'm doing. And then I even dovetailed it back to the Rime of the Ancient Mariner that I borrowed that from. So it's not, again, there's some engagement in this. It's not just, hey, don't let your water leak all over your house. Make sure to hook up your ice maker. That's boring, isn't it? Okay? But this has got some flair to it. So you have that flair, and I'm lucky in that sense. I have a personality that just does that naturally. So that's how I write these things, but that's the way everybody needs to write these things. Okay? But you see how I dress this up. I put the web address on the top of it and let everybody go share that image. I don't care about that article, at least I care about the image. So that's how I took care of this one. And even my SSL article, I put a guy with Groucho Marx, there's a picture of Groucho Marx that talks about SSL disguised as security, because SSL is not security, but they're calling it security. So you all think something great happened and nothing great's happened. Okay? All you've done is given Google a vehicle to distribute your information. That's it. That's all that's happened. So nothing has made you more secure. So these are the things that you have to be thinking about. And I guarantee you, if I started around this room and I started asking you questions, you all could come up with stuff like this. You could all tell me about stuff like this. Okay? But you have to start thinking about your businesses differently. Okay? So to be able to spit this out, you have to be able to do it differently than what you've been doing. Because before, you're either telling me too much about you, or you're not, or you're too generic. You've got to just start putting flair into things. I don't know how else to say that. But, all right, does everybody hate me? Because I haven't even gotten to the rest of everything yet. All right, so let me give you the mathematics on this one here. Let's just do it real quick.
We love you, Beth. We love you.
I know you do, and I love you too, and you know that.
We start to hate Google.
We start to hate Google, is that what you just said? Try to work those in that way. For you, I need you to stop screaming at everybody. I know you mean well because you're trying to get there. I know, but unfortunately, they don't understand experiences and they don't understand being Italian. Okay? This is where, that's where, hey, look, I'm just as loud as you are. It's all good. You put us all in the room and, it's Italian blood. Well, you don't know, I actually was born there too. I just don't sound like him. That's the only difference. I got here sooner. Yes, I'm New Jersey, you're Texas, that's it. So, but, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, yes?
Does this mean that there's one H1, 7 H2, 7?
There's something in that, but you're gonna have to use judgment. It's not just, that's just kind of a guideline, so it's just judgment and.
And that would be on 2,300?
No, it's 800. I didn't even get to the 1250 paycheck. Okay, I didn't even get there. That's what happens here. This is where, I don't know what to do.
H3 is how many, and H5 is 7 to 10.
I stopped there for a reason. That's all kind of you need. We're good. Let's go with that, and I'm happy with that.
You don't want to give us the others while we're here?
We don't have time.
I don't have time. It's 12. No, I'm not. I can't do it because it's in a vacuum. Because the 1250 is going to change, and it's completely in a vacuum.
Oh, we need the explanation.
Well, now, so is the 1, the 7, and the 7 through 10, the 40?
Those are your H tags that we've been talking about. Okay. All right. So do we have any questions other than go to the next one that I'm not going to go to? And this is why I kept trying to say stay on point, because I know this was going to be a fire hose. This was not even, there's so much on this. This could go on for hours. So, we're good?
Yeah.
All right. Yes?
With all this time and all this work, how can a small business person expect?
Oh.
They can't.
They can't.
They can't.
So are you saying give up on the net or what?
No.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
She's saying you gotta hire her.
No, I didn't say that either, but yeah, that would be, okay. For Ricky, what I expect Ricky to do is on a Sunday afternoon, sit down and do this. That's what I expect her to do. For one article. But she doesn't need to do more than one article because she's not him. Okay? No, I don't mean that badly. It's what is the relationship between the business, the amount of business that you get, okay? Where I see a problem is your office. That's where I see this problem. There's no way you're going to be able to keep up with what you need to keep up with. I don't care how hard you try, Erica. You would need 3 of you dedicated to this. That's it. Because every one of your competitors has a me on staff, or that's where I see the problem. I don't see a problem for Ricky because Ricky's industry, unless they're Jillian Michaels, they're mostly Ricky.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where you have to look at this and how do you want to, huh?
I don't want to be Jillian.
No, but you get. I'm trying to put a perspective on it. All right.
I've got like 5 different articles.
Okay.
Just say.
You better
I
get
have
cracking.
to do that for each one of them.
Yes. And then you better come up with about 30 or 40 more. At the end of the year, you better have 50 articles that you've put up.
Okay.
That's your goal.
Does Google rank how often you post on your blog site at this point?
Okay, that's a trick question. It's a great question, but it's a trick question nonetheless. Okay, so my website, I'm only going to use my website as to answer this because I have a fairly strong website, but a fairly neglected website. Mine's like the Shoemaker's Kids. Does everybody understand why I'm saying it's the Shoemaker's Kid? Okay. Who said no?
The Italian.
All right. The Italians say you don't know. All right. That's that. God here as baby, God here as adult problem. Got it.
When I plan my trip to Italy, I'm sitting next to the toilet and all the clients are around.
Yeah, they don't, yeah. All right, so here we go. Okay, The shoemaker's shoes always have holes in them because you can't get to them. Okay, that's the story. Okay, so where I'm going with this is that I put a post up in February, and I have not been able to get back to it till July. I have enough of you guys coming to that website to pay your bill, ask a question, so it has that traffic flow coming into it. So about May, it started to dip down a little bit, so I put this on, and it just shot it right back up again. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using the traffic now. I would never do that with his website because it's too competitive. I have to compete with Expedia, so I better be putting stuff up far more frequently than once a quarter when I notice a traffic dip. Does everybody kind of, this becomes a case-by-case basis on how you answer that, because if the website has, I've had this happen, that somebody will say, I get a lot of this. I don't know what you do. Okay. Then I don't know what you do for us. Okay. And then I've had some people say, hey, I'm not paying you anymore. Okay. And then 3 months go by and they still think they're okay. And then they get to month 4 or 5 and the bottom falls out. So they thought they were okay for the first 3 months and then boom, they were gone. But it depends on how much momentum they had to start with as to what. But for her, she could write an article. If I'm telling her write 52 a week or 52 a year, I'll be lucky if I get 10. That probably will be okay. And no offense, but I know how busy you are. Okay, all right. So it all becomes relative. Okay. For you, have you ever put a page up on your website? No, never. Right?
Well, it's a replicated website.
But you've never put anything up, right? Okay.
Except for one little word. Yeah,
okay. Well, that's a problem in and of itself. We'll set that problem aside. But let's say she's never put something up and she put something up once, that's not going to help her. You have to actually, it took almost 15, 16 months before I had enough momentum on that site now that I started posting on again before I could kind of taper it back off. Wow. So this becomes and again, dentist, yeah, she better be putting something up every day, without fail. Him, pretty close. All right, and you put it back in because he's busier. But you've been doing it. You kind of been putting it back, sending it through social. We've been kind of doing that, and then we're still putting up those pages that we have on the rewrites on the. So we've got momentum going from that standpoint. But that's where if he stopped doing everything, he'd go right off the side of the cliff.
If he shared an old post on Facebook, would that sort of?
No. And here's the thing. But Facebook is coming in. He's putting it in. It's getting traffic. We've got traffic coming off the website into Facebook. You can share it, but eventually people are going to wonder why you're sharing something old, and then there's no freshness, so now you're penalized for that too. Okay, I'm going to answer something that he said at the very beginning of this class, and it goes to what you said. I think it was you, not you. I think it was you. Okay, he said Google's forcing everybody in a paid model. Okay, and you said how's a small business supposed to keep up? Were you in the class where the Obama lady came on the TV and she was going to explain to us how great Google was and that therefore, what did they tell us at the end of that whole video? You don't remember? And buy AdWords. That was the message to that, okay? I think if you understand that the mechanics of this is informational and you give them informational, and this is where you keep your philosophy is right and wrong all at the same time, okay? I'm trying to give information to get into an organic slot, okay? That information has to be real information and not sales copy. That's the piece that you're having trouble with because you keep trying to inject sales copy into the water well, if you will. If I just wanted to do sales copy, I should go strictly into a paid model and then kind of stay in that into that paid space. Okay, but
it's also the repeatability of it because I mean,
but there's a big problem with paid.
Repeat the same words 100 times.
No, but listen, I don't have any problem not repeating a word. If you're good at what you do, you don't have a problem. If you know your subject matter, you won't have a problem. That is the bottom line of this. What I will give you is why paid is a problem versus organic. This is where how many people click on ads?
You avoid that.
Okay, all right. The problem is. It's only going to capture less than half of 1%. I mean, it's not that bad. It's like 10%, they say. What Google's trying to do is shift out commercial copy. So if I go to Moving Place now, there's not movers anymore. There's Angie's List. There's Thumbtack. There's Yelp. There are no more moving companies. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. If you try to go find a moving company, they're going to give you aggregators of places to go find a moving company. The problem with that eventually is you're going to know if I go to Google, I'm not going to get a moving company, so what are you going to not do? Not go to Google. Google's hoping that what you'll do is jump into the ad space and go pick the moving ad, the guy from the moving company thing. But part of the psychology, I think, of organic search is you're thinking that Google has picked out some good people, that those people are better. So the fact that those ads are there, I think that's where the disconnect is. So you can take away all my organic listings and only put what I'm looking for in the ads. I think humans are going to go elsewhere. They're not going to stay in the same, they're not going to go click on the ad. Now, Google will probably say they saw a bump by doing something like that. So for them, they're happy because exponentially they've made more money. But the reality is, how many are they losing and over what course of time? How long does it take before you basically lose your market share? Because you're giving results that they're saying to give you Yelp is more relevant than to give you a moving company. All right? I don't know that I agree with that. If I wanted to go find the moving company on Yelp, what would I do? Go to Yelp. Okay? So this is where this is going to start to fall apart a little bit, but I think they're manipulating organic listings to force businesses into the paid space. Okay? That's what they're doing. So they're trying to make the organics be so informational that you're just going to go walk off and go pay because you want to be an ad. You have a website that you can be informational. We can be the Ministry of Tourism and be okay.
Because when I started, Beth, there was no pay-per-click. There was no...
No, but that's okay.
It was relevant if you were appearing and I was in the front without paying any money because I was informational.
Yes.
And then I sold trips like I intended.
Well, we've kind of got away from that because we've got like 1,600 vacation packages, so now we're a commercial website. So, and this is where I got it. You know, we're trying to pull all this back in alignment. For all the rest of you, even if I go put in Italian vacations, what did I get? I got paid shopping ads for vacations that I can go buy from Expedia. I got a map of Italy and a Wikipedia entry about the country of Italy, and I got region pages, which is where I'm going with is I'm going to go put them back in the informational space, and let's go play that game if that's what we're going to go do. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys, this makes it so, are they forcing small business out in the marketplace? They're trying really hard. Is it going to succeed? I don't really know, because I think what's going to happen is people are going to just migrate. Either they're going to migrate elsewhere, maybe, huh? Well,
Google research anything. There is nothing else but Google.
Right, but I think what you're going to see is you're going to see things like DuckDuckGo and Bing Bing is creeping up on the market share. They're using Google's algorithm from about 4 years ago. I mean, it's still 10% to 14%. It's not like this huge thing, but it's going to take time for people to get the feel of getting bad results.
I get irritated when they put those ads in and you try to go someplace and then
Well, you get irritated with that. What I get irritated with is when I put in Houston Moving Company and I get Thumbtack, Angie's List, and Yelp. If I wanted to use any of those three services, I would have gone there. I'm not stupid enough to not know that I have to go there. The other thing is, and as much as I love them, okay, and I probably love them more than I should, but Amazon is the bomb, okay? They're the bomb. No matter what, they're just the bomb, all right? But the problem is, if I wanted to go look for something on Amazon, I would go to Amazon. When I go to Google and you return Amazon results, and then you have shopping ads, that in no way helps me. So now I have to root around Amazon to find out what I want. What that's actually doing sometimes is it forces me out. When I bought these, okay, I bought them from Amazon, but I went to Best Buy. I got a price. I had to do a lot of research because there were some certain things I wanted out of my headphones, which I still didn't get because the ones that do it you have to have a big neck contraption or something, okay? And the problem is when I talk to you all on my cell phone, when I'm on these things, do you not hear everything like I'm in a construction zone? I mean, it's terrible. I don't know if you've noticed that, but some people that have the headphones, it's like being in a construction zone, okay? Because the mic's picking up everything. Long story short is, from my standpoint, I did a lot of research. I ultimately bought it from Amazon, but if you tried to just Google these, the first thing that's going to come up was Bose and Amazon. Well, I didn't need either of them, so that's not useful to me. So you're trying to bombard me with advertising when I'm trying to just get the facts of what I knew what I wanted to buy, I just didn't know what model. So this is where this advertising is gonna push people, my opinion, gonna push people away, long
What
term.
the keyword, I can't go back to keywords, but when, if you're looking for a certain type of headphones, and you know what you want, then can't you put that in the search, and it would pull up, like, if you were looking for a,
It pulls up ads around it, it was just like,
yeah.
no, you know what I had to do? I'll tell you what I had to do. I had to put the model number in and then put the word reviews.
That's it, review. Or like
That's how I was
comparison.
able to get the right answer, and then was able to go through a review site to be able to find out, to start. And then it was very aggravating. Something that should have taken me 10 minutes took me about an hour to go figure out that if I bought these, it was gonna make the coffee shop quiet, but it was still gonna make, when somebody talks to me, I was gonna have to take it off and use my handset. Okay? So, go ahead, David.
Since we're talking about pay-per-click, is it a smart thing or a not smart thing? Because some people understand when the word ad comes up.
Yeah.
Some people will just click on the first thing, they really don't care. And
Okay.
some people will go down below the ads.
Let me give you the stats on
What frustrates
that.
me is when I go to Best Buy, and they've paid for the words Best Buy.
Right.
Why? If
Okay.
I Google Best Buy and your ad comes up, you're second behind Best Buy. And you're either paying for it in one way or you're not paying for it the next way.
All right, so here's the reason why. Hi, when you want to go to Best Buy, what do? Do you Google Best Buy? Don't get in a car and go. I don't mean that. Do you get in a car? Do you go Google Best Buy? Do you click on the first thing you come to?
No.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, that's why though, because everybody over the age of 60 immediately clicks that. What the statistics say is that there is a segment of the population that if they Google Best Buy, Best Buy needs to have a paid space and have their name, because otherwise people are going to click on
But
it.
we're not saying the same thing. What I'm saying is Best Buy ad
Yes.
comes up first. So Best
Yes.
Buy has bought the
Yes.
ad click for Best Buy.
Yes.
My point is, if you're typing in bestbuy.com, why the hell pay for Best Buy in the first place?
Because they know that the people are not there's
Are gonna do that.
yeah, everybody over the age of 55, 60
But it
is.
comes down second. It's the
Yeah,
second
they
channel.
understand.
I understand that, but I'm telling you why they're doing it.
That's when you put all the corners. Because if I don't, somebody, him, they open a three coffee shop and I don't have the real estate.
The real estate,
Yeah.
exactly, they're paying for the real estate.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, and they know that people. The other thing is they don't want him to go by the word Best Buy and have Crazy Eddie's running off the side of it. So there's that also, because then that becomes a trademark fight, and that's a pain in the neck. All right, so I can't wrong. I would always tell somebody to buy their brand. I mean, that to me is just good business. Yes, you are the minister of the tourism of Italy. I'm telling you right now.
A lot of people don't remember that, White House started off as a porn site.
That's true.
Yep.
So White House, yeah. So you gotta, there's that problem too. So
White House wouldn't buy it from them, but they ended up having to buy it from them.
all right. Anybody have any other questions?
White House does porn site.
Are we able to go?
Thank you, Beth.
You're very welcome.
When do we meet next? Is it over there at Post Oak?
Yes.